Welcome to the Be the Solution podcast. Hi, I am Maria Quattrone and Be the Solution. My belief is that we should live our lives providing values to others by being the solution. Our purpose is to teach others how to be the solution. And our goal is to help our listeners become their own solution. Our mission is to inspire people to become a problem solver, and our vision is to change the way that people think. What if everybody lived their lives by being the solution? What would our world look like? And how great would that be? So welcome today, Pam Rosser Thistle from Berkshire Hathaway Services.
Great to be here. I feel like I'm out, like I even put, look at this necklace.
Oh, Pam,
a friend of mine, an older friend of mine, gave this to me. It has a little RBG feel to it, I think. And obviously it doesn't pair great with my nightgowns. So I thought that I would wear it today because I feel like I'm out.
Well, and it's so apropos for almost the new year.
Yeah.
and we always get a little glitzy at that time. I decided Christmas red. We're still in the Christmas spirit with the Christmas tree here behind me. So
yeah, it's kind of heavy. So if I'm leaning over today.
Well, welcome to the podcast, Pam. I'm so happy to have you
here. Yeah.
And I thought it would be great for our viewers to talk for you to talk a little bit about your journey. I mean, I guess I don't even know how long was it been 2 years now that you went out on your own?
January will be 2 years. So yeah.
Okay, 2 years.
Isn't that crazy how time goes? Wow.
Blink of an eye.
And who would have thought that now almost half of it has been during this crazy, as they say, unprecedented time. But it's been a time of growth. And Maria, I so admire everything that you've done during this to be positive and to learn. I mean, maybe you knew all this streaming and different things before, but I am so impressed.
Thank you.
Did you just learn it during the you're doing a lot.
No, well, we started the first one aired on April 1st. So 10 days into quarantining.
Yeah.
Well, like you, Pam, I'm very social and always out and about. And
you helped me big time. You helped me big time. When the change happened, I was a mess, and you kind of shook some life into me. Do you remember that?
At the Continental?
At Devon. We were at Devon.
That was the first lunch. Devon.
You were so helpful to me. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that it was.
Told me to put my big girl pants on, and I did. Right?
I did tell you that.
I don't remember what you said, but something good.
Yeah. Well, Pam, you had it. You always had it in you. So it just needed. Sometimes we need a little bit of guidance, and we need a little pushing.
And you did that. Yeah, and I appreciate that. But as far as I couldn't be happier. I think I'm my free spirit nature has come out. And that's who I am. So it's you go through different changes in your life and in your business, and this was a big one, but it really matches me. So I just kind of it's like in high school, the person who doesn't really fit with the clique, but they like to just kind of be friends with everybody, and like the way I am now, I just partner with whoever makes the most sense, or I do things by myself, which I figured out a lot of the technology and resources. I dug in and I studied them. I figured out what everything was, almost like cleaning out a closet, like, what's in here, what fits, like, what am I going to use? So I looked into all of it, and then I just picked out like the 4 things that I needed. And I have
first 4 things, Pam.
Well, the CRM for one, my gosh, that is incredible. The things you can do with it. I blend my business life with my personal life, which I think a lot of women do that, like maybe men too, but like I feel like women are more multitaskers and men generally like to put things in boxes, like do things one at a time. So my life and business is a big blend. So I use my CRM for personal stuff too. Like, I have like a school moms or like, it's like you can organize the tools, not just for your business, but for your life, because you're doing both. You're living your life and you're running your business.
How were
So
you able to do that, Pam? Did you have an assistant? Did you have somebody in the office that helped you, or
no, I do it all on my own. We have a marketing concierge who helped me. I would meet with her every week in the beginning just to learn what all the tools were. And I'd say like, yes, no, yes, no. Like I try to figure out, because some of them are more geared towards teams and transaction management, and others are geared towards marketing and staying in touch with your sphere. So I only need certain things because I'm one person. And I actually have like sort of the yin yang, like so like, cause I get more in than I can handle. So like a big part of my business is referrals, giving referrals out to people who are the right person. So I am always trying to figure out like, who's good in this area, who's good in that area. And then the reverse happens too. I get a lot of referrals from agents who are not in Philadelphia. So it goes both ways. So it's organizing everything so that I am in my sweet spot. And that's my goal, is to be in my sweet spot, enjoy it, and know how to flow out what isn't appropriate for me or I can't service properly. Or to partner with somebody who can help me. That's what I've been doing. So it's like, I kind of take the muffin top. Remember like Seinfeld? I take the muffin top and then the rest of the muffin, I let other people eat that. So that's how I do it. And I don't need an assistant. I'm never really stressed. It's like, I'm selling the same types of properties over and over again. And some of them are the same actual houses. So there's not a big learning curve. And I love it. And I get really into it. Like I got some amazing photos yesterday came in for a listing coming up. And I was just like, oh my God, I want to, like, it was so fun. It was looking at them and I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to do? And my background is marketing. So, cause sometimes people have an assistant for marketing and like, I like to do the marketing. So, and to me, that's like playing in the sandbox. It's not like, oh my God, I have to do the marketing. It's like, woo, I get to do the marketing. Yeah, so that's the things, and then I love administrative work, because I think it's really satisfying, but there's not a whole lot. I mean, the way during lockdown and our business, the real estate industry, it was like it went to a different, it was like a quick revolution that happened and you had to figure it out. And so so now I'm doing things a little bit differently, and it's a blend. I think that the first year I was on my own, there was like, it seemed like there were these tech wars, like people were saying, oh, my tech is better than your tech and all this. And then I think when COVID happened, it was that moment of, okay, how are we doing this? Things just changed. And you really just needed the strong swimmers to know how to like grab it. And, I was an athlete in high school. But I was saying before, like, who can take it to the hoop? Who can make that shot? Like, however you get it there, get the ball in the hole. And so people do that differently. Some people use a lot of tech. Some people have teams and systems that work that way. Other people, I did a transaction recently with Rachel Rothbard, who's amazing, with Coldwell Banker. And we're kind of that same, like, single agent, handle a lot of volume. Like our clients generally understand that, it might be like 5 minutes or even to it's like when you work leads versus working relationships, it's a different kind of business. It's a speed game with leads, and relationship, there's a little bit more breathing room and time. So it's like working with Rachel on the transaction, I felt like we were kind of did our business the same way. Like we were friendly. Of course we're friendly because we're friends, but also we just kind of like, when you get into the mode of the transaction, you just need to like stick the landing. You've got to get in that, like, getting the business is one thing, but I think being a technician when you're doing the transaction, to know what could come up, even simple things like, I'm going to pick up a check today, a deposit check. Like I always hand deliver my checks, like that's money, and the post office is not working very well. And, some people do wires, but some people still do checks. So like you have to respect the steps in the transaction. And I think there's certain things that you don't cut corners on, and that you don't give off to somebody else. I have to meet an older couple today at noon because they like me to be there for everything. So they're doing the deed package, and they obviously the title company is going to guide them through it, but they always like me to be there because they trust me, and they just want me to, if they have a question. So they've asked me a whole bunch of questions leading up to it, like who's going to be there. And, we've gone over it many times, but you have to respect that it's a big event that's happening, and we do it all the time. So it seems like no big deal. But like this couple, they hand sign everything. They come up from Cape May for even just an initial. And I meet them wherever it makes sense. I meet them, and they're buying and selling and buying on the same day. And so there's, a lot of questions and helping them. And then the extra step of everything gets hand signed. But that's how they're doing it. You have to meet people where their comfort level is. And there are a lot of ways to do things. And of course it's easier to DocuSign. I love DocuSign, but if somebody feels fearful about doing that, then, I'll meet them and walk them through it.
We say you have to meet people where they're at in life.
And they are all over the place. Like
in general.
Can you find that with COVID? Like I felt like some people, not a big deal. I mean, of course it's a big deal, but like they just kept going. Like, okay, I'll put my mask on and everything. Other people were scared to death. I've never talked on the phone so much. Well, maybe when I was a teenager, but it's probably about equal time. And people also call me about, or they'll say like yesterday, somebody emailed and they said, can I talk to you about something? It's not about real estate. And it was somebody I had helped buy a house a couple of years ago. And I said, yeah, sure. So we talked for like an hour. And it's okay. Like a lot of people do that. A lot of people ask, can I talk to you about something, or can you help me with something? And yeah, of course. So I've been doing a lot of that, a lot of like gift cards that like, like, oh, okay, I'm not going to be going out anytime soon. So going to Tallulah's daily, getting a bunch of food and just delivering it to like older people who are, it just is like, oh, hey, here's some great food. And not, maybe a little chit chat on the sidewalk, not anything dangerous, but Just, things like that. It's not earth shattering moves, but they're just little things that hopefully help people, because it's very hard. I mean, this is it's a scary time, and we need to keep the spirit that you have alive here, doing this, connecting people. Because people are nuts now. The driving's out of hand. People are just like not looking when they're crossing streets, and it's a little, I don't know, you just feel like it's a little out of hand right now. So
no, I definitely know
if you can do something to, like, I don't know, get some normalcy, or
well, I don't know about normalcy.
I mean, no, maybe that's a little much, but yeah,
definitely you see that it's wearing on people, and the driving has been pretty
the
bad.
driving's crazy. Yeah.
I want to take you back a second, because you had said something earlier. You had said you stay in your zone, and you work the best in that. So why don't you share with everybody what that is? Because I don't think everybody knows.
Oh, sure. Yeah. River to river, South Philly to Francisville. So mostly Center City. It's, I mean, mostly I would say, like, from Fairmount to Washington Avenue, river to river. That's where most of my business is. And then if it gets like out of that area, then I know who the good people are, and that can change. But and so then I'll refer, or like I'm not a real Fishtown person, so I've had two people want me to list their houses there recently, and so I connected with Amy Goldman, who's great, and we used to work together on a team together, and we're both now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she and
a couple of
Melissa Valenti and Carrie. They have a great team, and so that's worked out really well for them. They've done great. And so I'm solo, but I like to kind of dip in, and I know that they're really good agents. So anyway, like, I like to do my thing. They do the team. And then I connect with other people too. And some people who are out of the area, they use me as their in the city person. Like, they still have their network and their sphere, and they want to keep business going. So I'll be on the street showing the houses, and they will be talking to them. And so there are a lot of ways that you partner. And then out in Chestnut Hill, like I started in that office, and I feel like I still am kind of there. Well, I feel like that I definitely overstay my welcome at all the Berkshire offices, all of them. I'm like the person who doesn't leave. I love it. So I go into the Chestnut Hill office. I sit down with Sue Wall. She's the manager. She was got me going. And when I started, she's amazing. And then other people, Alex, just people in there. And and really, so many times it's whoever happens to walk in, and I'll chat with them, and I'll say, "Oh, do you want to go list this with me?" Or, sometimes it's just timing, like who happens to be right there. But it's the same way, like Walnut Street. I mean, that's like the heart and soul of the company. Like, it's if you somehow interact with that office, I think it's like you're smitten. There's such a bond there with the people, and it's such a great place. So I go there, and that's where the title company is too. That's where I'm going later today. That's where one of the title people, Robert Scott, who's wonderful. I was posting on Facebook, I couldn't find any Q-tips. And so actually his wife, who's an agent, and then Robert works there. His mom's a mobile notary. Like, everyone, there are always a lot of relations. So they got me Q-tips. So when I do the deed package, he said, "Come on over and I've got your Q-tips." So, I mean, just like little things like that, but we watch out for each other. And that's nice. And then, of course, the Rittenhouse office. I mean, that's my home office. And just a lot of people there from my life over the years, not just like the last 2 years, but like the last 20 plus years. I have a lot of history with the people there. So it's so comfortable. It's just really comfortable. You can just chat with people. And if you have a problem with a listing or something, like I think that's a big part of our business is the networking, the talking. It's how we sell a lot of our listings. And it doesn't have to be just, with your company. It's because people have moved around. It's just having that network. And I think that's why this is so good, Maria, because one thing that agents, maybe newer agents, might not think of is the relationships you have with other agents is, I would say, equal or maybe even more important than the relationships with your clients, because those are the people you're going to be doing transactions with day in and day out. And how you treat them and the trust and your knowledge and everything, like respect among your peers is very, very important as far as being able to get a deal, if you have multiple offers, to get some advice if you need it, and to get through a transaction, because things come up and you have to work together. But if you have like, kind of like bad karma or something, like it's not going to help.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
It's so true. Yeah.
It's a little cliche, but I do love that saying.
You know what? All those cliches, these cliches are great because you remember them and they're true. A lot of them are true. So yeah, I'd say bring it on. Bring on all the cliches. They're fine. They're good.
So speaking of which, we're at the end of 2020, which a lot of people are grateful for that happening. And we're going into 2021. So I know you're a planner and you lay out your plans. And so what are you planning for 2021, and how are you getting yourself ready for your business next year, and what kinds of things can you teach some of our listeners?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to. I actually should have, because the way I do it is I just take a piece of paper and I write down where my sales came from. And then and it's usually 3 categories, and it is again this year. So, and then I look at like where my business actually came from. And then I focus on those areas. So for me, it's the 3 categories are my sphere, and more than ever, it's repeat business now. So that was my biggest, and that's really because of the CRM. So most of it is sphere and repeat business. And then like newly strong is the agent referrals. You know how the algorithms on social media recommend, like they read your mind. So my feed is Berkshire everywhere. Like I'm looking at houses in Spain, Berkshire houses, like, all over the world. Cause it's like, oh, do you want to friend this? Do you want to like this? And whenever it says Berkshire, yes. So I have like a network that is just through social media that is, I guess you'd say, international. And then a lot of local agents. So I get, it goes back and forth, a lot of referrals. And then the third is open houses, which I love. And I think that for any agent, like people say, oh, it's a good way when you're new to get going. Like, well, I've been doing them every weekend for like 13 years. I'm not new, but I love them for many reasons. First of all, it gives structure to your week, and it keeps you on your toes with the market, because to get ready for the open house, you want to know what's going on in the market where you're going to be hosting.
What are some of the things that you do to prepare for the open house? You don't just show up there with your
It's changed. Yeah, it's really changed with COVID. So, and also because over the past 2 years, like something new, I guess, is I'm more of a listing agent. It used to be more buyers, maybe like 60-40, and I think that's flipped. So with the open houses, I'm trying to get that listing sold. And then as far as meeting people and having an opportunity to connect with people, that is also part of why I'm there. But it's primarily to get that house sold. So what I do to prepare is different because less paper these days. Like I used to have information that I would give out that was pretty comprehensive, but people don't want paper now. So I might have a little bit that I bring, but not as much, just a little bit of backup. So it's a lot of social media as far as the pre-promoting.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I might send something out through the CRM because I have it all organized by different ways. So I might send it out to a certain category. But and then I have like Berkshire's really known for open houses. We have a lot of hosts who are just great. And so I have other agents host at my open houses. And I train them on how to host. Because as you say, you don't want to just show up. So I want to try to have them help me sell the house. And then I want to help them learn how to build their business through open houses. So I have tell them how I want the feedback, so that I get agent names who come, of visitors who come in who have agents, and I follow up with them, which is how I've been selling most of my listings actually. So I really I'm so grateful for the hosts who have been doing a great job getting people in the door and getting me names, and then I follow up with them, and then they get unrepresented people who come in and they become clients. And I've been teaching them how to get people to come in, how to follow up. So I've basically been, if somebody hosts for me, they get trained by me, and I'll give them everything I have as far as how to do it.
Because I think you're the queen of open houses.
Well, I have, there are more queens and kings because there's some really good people out there, some new agents who I've taught, and they're doing really well. So it's, they get it. They get it how to, use it. Because I like the marketing materials that I do them unbranded, because then they can use them. And I say, just, hey, pretend it's your listing. Like it does. I just want to get, if that helps you market, great. So that's how the preparation has gotten different. It's more me preparing the hosts and getting them set up. And then I have signs. I bought extra signs and I leave them at the house, the ones that are vacant, so that they have signs. And then we do some things to drive people to websites. Like there's a whole virtual level to it that I help the agents with. So the preparation is a lot different than it was a year ago. But it seems to be working. It seems to be working well. Like even last weekend, one of my hosts, she had 7 groups through. I mean, it's a weird time, and she's already taken somebody she met out. And then at one of them, it's the second time she's hosted at one of my listings, and this person is considering buying it. So, and hopefully she'll represent them. So it's it's all going. So it's really such an opportunity to be out there. And of course, safely. I mean, gosh, if anybody doesn't have a mask or anything, no. I mean, you have to be like the whatever the security guard, or I mean, you have to be tough. I mean, absolutely. I've escorted people to the door. I had a dog bowl full of water thrown at me once because someone wouldn't sign in, and they don't sign in, they have to go. So I mean, a lot of things. Somebody who, I don't know if I should say this, but there was a time when there was someone who was suspected of stealing in the open houses. I don't know if you remember that, but somebody who fit the description, who actually was like a younger version of me. Like it was like she wouldn't sign in. It was really shady. So I actually locked her in the garage.
Oh,
And I wouldn't let her out until she called me and the number came through and I could hear her. It was a house that had a lot of valuables. So I just said, and you got to set an appointment. If you're not going to sign in, if you're not going to give me your number, if you're not going to text me or call me and I can hear you, you have to leave. So I am like no nonsense with my open houses. I mean, I'm nice, but like, I'm going to keep control of the environment. And especially now with COVID, you've got to like, we don't get crowds of people in, but if that were to happen, you have to have people wait outside. So, and I've had a couple where it was a lot of people and they just stood in a line outside. But you really have to be the adult in the room, like not just selling real estate, but keeping safe with everything, with showings, with closings. But people understand. I really haven't had nothing to even mention really, as far as crazy COVID incidents. It's all been like, just everyone trying to get through, and you have to explain how things go. During lockdown, the first one, that was nuts. Doing closings, it was like a mafia sci-fi movie, like, oh, we're going to drop the bag outside your house with the papers. And then you open the door, take it out of the bag, sit by your window. I'll stare at you as a witness, put it in the bag, put it out your door. Like, what? But that's what it's like we showed how adaptable we are, because we were doing it how it was, closing in parking lots, garages,
and resilient.
Like what state? Near Philadelphia, you're going to Jenkintown, or it's crazy. It was nuts. So
well, I'm glad,
but we did it. And
I'm glad that's behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds
I know. And don't you feel like we're stronger? Don't you feel like we're stronger?
I do. And it sounds like, though, the open houses have been a win-win for you and the host at your company. So congratulations.
Yeah. I've sold probably, like, I would say 3/4 of my listings since COVID through the open houses. And a couple, the virtual, although they died quickly. Like in the beginning, they were really popular, but then they died. And I think that, like, when you could do live, then the virtual was like not popular. But sometimes it would be helpful to walk a buyer through a house, or you might have one person come in, you talk to them. But yeah, it's been for me, that's been a fallback tool that I enjoy, and it's worked. But going back to, like, helping and 2021, one lesson that I have learned recently is you really have to run your business and do real estate in a way that's comfortable for you. Open houses are great for me. I also enjoy marketing, and I like to do that on my own. Other people have other types of businesses. They might be selling in different states. They might have teams. So I think that you have to do it wherever you get the joy and where your comfort zone is and where, it's making, making the money. Like one thing I listened actually, Noah Ostroff was on one of your podcast, or well, what are we on? Podcasts, whatever. And I actually texted him afterwards. I said, I'm really impressed with, you're a true entrepreneur. And I said, the way you do business has like I'm not interested at all. It's like really different from how I do business, but I really respect how you do it because I feel like your heart is in the way you do it. And I was explaining to him the way I did it, how it's like really different, but I have that respect for, like, he's in his zone, like you can feel it. And so it's just an example of, you have like two different type. And then he talks a lot about net, about how like not just looking at like your gross, but like how many expenses do you have? Like, whatever it may be with marketing dollars, staff, that sort of thing. So you have to look at your net, because he said he tweaked it. So I listen to other people, and I'm always curious, like, how do you run your business? I've always been fascinated by that. But for me, it's really consistent. I sell about the same every year, even through lockdown. Like I didn't get like real busy when we opened up. I was about the same as when we were locked down. Because weirdly, I did a lot of sight unseen sales. So like, it's always just, I'm never overwhelmed. I'm never slow. It's just steady. It's always like that. And I make like about the same amount. I don't really, I change things to improve my systems, or to, for time management. But really, I'm selling the same houses over and over again. And that's what I love. Like, to me, I've made it, and I don't have any, I don't want to change anything. Like, it's not like, oh, I need to step it up, or like, I'm there. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. It all works. It all works really well. So that's me. But like, other people have other business goals and a 5-year plan and everything. And mine is really just to tweak what I'm doing and continue doing it. I don't see any changes. I just always like to incorporate the new, whatever it may be, technology or new ways that make sense for me, and not to do it just to do it, but because it helps me and my business. So what about you, Maria? Have you changed things this year?
Well, before I get into that, 1 second.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the saying, tiny hinges swing big doors?
Wait, say that again.
Tiny hinges swing big doors.
Oh, no, I haven't. I like that.
It reminds me, because you say you like to tweak things.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I love about you, Pam, is that you're very consistent in what you do. And so it shows up, it shows every year, because you don't just get the business because you did nothing. You're consistent in your follow-up. You're consistent in the details. You're consistent in helping other people, being a good person, being a good realtor, being a good co-op. All of those things are consistent. And one of the things that you said is you like to tweak things. So we say, tiny hinges swing big doors. So the change in people's
true.
Isn't about a big thing. It's just about a little change. Because if you look at a door hinge, it's only like this big, but they swing these massive doors, right? You'll see massive doors in a hinge like that. So it's just taking that, saying it's the little things, and the devil is in that little detail of what makes the change in somebody's life and his business.
Yeah, that is so true. And so I guess my goal, like one of my goals always is to be more knowledgeable and about my specific market. Really specific things. I mean, like, what floor is the amenities floor on at Liberty Place? 37. Like, things like that. I want to know. Is it licensed or deeded? Or what kind of parking is it at this building? What's going on with the tax abatement? What's like the real details. I used to work as a consultant to the streets department. And also I was a consultant to DEP. So I've been like in that government track, and I know how it's, you just follow the rules. It's like back in the day when I was doing that, like with the proposals, like if you don't staple it certain way and have 5 copies, like it gets thrown out. So like it can be really specific details, and that our market, our Philadelphia market, is so specific, and some of it's nonsense. Like, you know, the transfer tax 2.14, okay, the millage rate 1.3988, okay, not 1.4, 1.3988. The city cert, that was 113. It just went up to 115.84. Is it? Like, not 116. So like all those things are kind of silly that they're so specific. And I feel like it's a little bit of a, you know, gotcha with the city. Like, oh, I know the exact number. But like as the agent, you should know it. So things that are really specific about how our business works, that is the kind of education that that I am always striving to stay on top of, because we're the resource in our market. And, you know, I know, like, you know, every broker has their different style. And like some of them do scripts. Could you imagine me with a script? No, I'm not a script person. I kind of need to be muzzled sometimes, but anyway, it's like everyone has their style, and I think that was another lesson, is that different agents fit with different brokers and styles. I think that there's a Berkshire style. I think of as a style within your own. Like, I wouldn't say like, oh, Maria's like how Remax is, but you're your own style, which is kind of a cut above. Compass has their style, Keller Williams, Elfont, Coldwell Banker, City Space, like they're all, everyone has like a little different style. And I think it's just like dating, like you got to go where the fit is, and none of them are better. It's just fit, like what fits for you. And the broker that I'm with is a great fit for me, but maybe it's not for everybody. You know, maybe some people, you know, for whatever the reason, it might be a better fit somewhere else. So, what do you think, Maria? I mean, you've blossomed, you created your business, and look what you have done.
Thanks.
I mean, look at that. I mean, you should be very proud of yourself.
Oh, Pam.
21st and South, you've got that beautiful place, and your business is great. And then doing things like this. I mean, you've really done it.
I appreciate those kind words, Pam. It means a lot to me.
I mean, you really have. And then your partnership with Barbara Corcoran, I mean, my goodness, that's a lot. It's a lot to be proud of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And one challenge at a time. You just have to keep, you know, I feel like you need to take care of yourself, be healthy, and, you know, keep learning. And then it's really like, it's like running a marathon. Like you have to be in good shape and just be ready to like knock it down. Like there are times when you have to be very soft and, you know, listen, empathetic, and I don't say like have to be, like you want to be. That's what you're, the mode that you're in. But then there are other times when you're just like knocking it down and you want to be like an athlete, like somebody is throwing you a pitch and you want to just do a good hit, or like, somebody's giving you the ball and you want to like take a shot. Like you just have to be ready to like boom, 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 like stick it. And
you have to be on point. And I think one of the most important things is that we need to do as agents is to be honest with our clients.
Oh yeah. And that can be hard for people who are like, you have to be able to face things and not just delay the communication, and not always have, it's not always good news.
No, you have to be able to embrace conflict in a loving and caring way, and tell the truth. And if it's bad news, you have to deliver it either on the phone or in person, and swiftly.
Yes.
With waiting or an email or a text.
Yeah.
Because, especially now, right? People really need to understand what's going on. And Philadelphia, we've had our challenges here in the market. And we're living it. So it's hard to see through the trees when you're in the middle of the forest.
Yes. And not having the full scope of everything, because people are online mostly, and the feet on the street can be different, and some of that, like during the lockdown, the houses that I sold that were sight unseen, I was lucky that like I knew them, because I'd either been in them before lockdown, or I just knew them from being in them. And so I could offer, one was a Trinity, and I said, measure your foot. We got to measure the stairs, like, because the seller was in there with the camera at the time. So being able to say, like, measure this, look at that, because there were things that they wouldn't have thought of. So, you have to bring in your on the street guidance to people who, are looking online and they can't smell it, or they can't, like, there's certain things that you have to get there live. And you offer what you can as far as questions to ask or due diligence. And, I think that that's where people lean on us, because we don't have the full experience now. With virtual tours and everything, it's very helpful, but it's not being there. So, it's been hard. It's been a hard year. Like, I think it was a good year for a lot of people, a lot of agents. But it was hard. I mean, getting through the transactions was very difficult, especially during lockdown.
I think it's still difficult, Pam.
Oh, I think so too. I do.
Companies, the title companies, I mean, the delays. And it's hard because we have to tell our clients.
I know.
The buyer's not ready. The buyer's ready, but the mortgage company's not ready. And the virtual closings, well, I think they're great in a way, but they're not that great, because they can just say, oh, well, sorry, we didn't send docs. That was 5 days ago. Where are the docs from the closing? Where's the money from the closing? Where's it? We have to.
I know.
I mean, we're dealing with this, so you have to be patient, and you have to be able to be nimble and roll with the punches and be like, okay, I do a lot of breathing, a lot of deep breaths to even just reset. And, some days, look, I tell people all the time, they're not feeling good mentally. I said, do this. Just smile, because I guarantee you, if you just walk around like this, for 20 minutes, it changes your whole physiology.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so these are little like mind tricks, right? Because look, the strongest of us, okay, people like you and I, even it's beating on us.
It's
So
hard.
imagine what it is to other people.
I know. And
It's having empathy, not
yes,
sympathy, but empathy for others.
I feel like, Maria, I feel like we have a calling. We have to be strong because people will gravitate and even mimic, like when something's going on and people look around like, well, how are other people reacting, and it makes them either scared or not scared. I feel like those of us who are strong need to be strong now to help as many people as we can feel like they can do it, and we can get through this, because you and I will, and we'll be fine. I mean, I do things like I box. I've boxed for a long time. And I run just
At your
stress
house,
relief. What?
boxing at your house, you have a boxing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your
I'm
husband,
actually really good. Careful, my left hook. Ah. But yeah, it feels great. It's great. So I do, and I just run, like, I mean, not fast, just on the treadmill, but that's how the stress relief for me. And that works fine. But I think that a lot of people are, obviously, I mean, this is a pandemic, like, people are losing their lives, and people are losing, mental health is a big thing. So I think that we have to be strong to try to help people to be strong too, and just kind of keep their sanity and keep their focus, the best we can. Just it's that modeling behavior. It's not like, the talk. It's like watch me walk the walk, and you can do it too. So I feel like that's very important right now. And that's what you're doing right here with all this.
well, that was the idea, is to connect with people, to give people a platform to talk about what they're doing, to teach others, and
Mhm.
also, I say to be a beacon of light.
What?
To be a beacon of light.
Yeah, you have to. And I said that to somebody about midway through, and I think she thought I was nuts. Because I'm a Leo, so sometimes I just spout, comes out of nowhere. Are you too?
August 2nd.
Oh my gosh. That makes so much sense. Well, I think the Leos really have to help, do their lion work. So, but I remember I was talking to somebody. It was just a transaction call, and I started going on about how I felt so strong and focused, and how what I have to do is to help people and be strong, and we all have to be strong. And I got a little carried away, and I think she was like, wow, she's out of her mind. But I do believe it. I believe that now, if you are strong, you need to really just help people, give them some, because a lot of people model behavior, or they copy ideas. So give them good ideas and give them good behavior, so that what they're copying is positive.
That's right, Pam. I do a lot of videos, and yesterday I do on Tuesdays. It goes out Tuesday, or like late afternoon, early evening.
Yeah.
Be the solution video. And
Yeah.
I said yesterday, if I could just help one person today, I did my job. And so,
Yeah.
um, I got an email last night from somebody at 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
Said, thank you so much for this today. I needed this more than I can tell you.
Oh.
And then I saw it. I had tears in my eyes, because really that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's about giving back to the community,
Yeah.
helping others, giving them a hand up when they need, giving them
Yeah.
a hug, even if it's a virtual hug.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait for the real thing.
Yes, me too. But in the meantime, we're going to do our best to continue to be the solution, right, Pam?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah,
Pam?
it's great. I don't know. I have some sun on my
I
face.
know
I don't know what's going on, but whatever. Here I am. um, but yeah, I think that bringing on people who have something positive to say, not being delusional and like pretending all is rosy. I mean, this is a really horrible time. But if there are ways to give people strength to be able to get through this, and on the other side something positive coming out, then you've done a lot. So that's so funny that you're a Leo. We can't help ourselves, Maria, right?
no.
We can't be clamped down.
I want to give people hope.
Yeah.
I have
That,
hope. And that's all that we can have. Uh,
that's right.
Prayers and faith, and that things will be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that at some point they will. We will turn a corner. But in the meantime, I am blessed and grateful to help so many families get, a new home or sold, especially in this environment. I'm sure you're seeing a lot of people want to move because they don't have the right space. They figured
Mm-hmm.
out from the pandemic that they don't like the space that they're in. So
Yeah.
we're in a business. We're very fortunate. I feel very blessed to be in an industry where we can help make an impact on people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I take it very, very seriously. So, as I know that you do as well. And so, we want to always advocate and fight for our clients in the right way to make sure that we get it to the finish line. And that finish line has been a little harder to get to these days. So we have to keep, I say every day, all I'm doing is moving it down the line. We're moving it down the line, whether it's the beginning of the process or the end of the process. And then continuing. I mean, I love that you know where your business comes from. A lot of people don't. They don't follow that. And that's really important
Yeah.
to understand where your business
That's
comes
so
from.
important. Yeah. And that is something that tracking where your business comes from is the way that you do plan. Because a lot of people, they have this fantasy that it comes from areas that I don't know. I mean, it could be friends and family, and that may not be paying off, or um, sometimes people get caught up in like the ego part of real estate. Like it becomes a little bit too much showbiz. And I think that you need to have visibility, but uh, but sometimes it gets too much of the feeding the ego, and you get distracted from running your business. So and that's hard. It's hard to focus, and
Well,
there are a lot of distractions.
we have to remember something, Pam. These properties are not ours, and these houses are not ours.
Yeah, yeah.
They're our clients, and we are the facilitator to move it forward. And if you're so lucky to be a suburban agent right now, and with very little inventory in, Bucks County or Lower Marion or, Chestnut Hill, et cetera, et cetera. And I say Chestnut Hill because, single family homes. Then you're not doing anything miraculous here by it's
Yeah.
sold in. There's so many buyers for the product. So we have to remember that we are just the facilitators. And
Hmm.
yeah, of course, great. We're doing a great job, but it's you got to kind of watch that a little bit because it then seems like I think you know what I'm talking about.
Well, it's always changing. So what's happening now, in 6 months or a year, it could be different. Um, and so you can't get either too discouraged or too kind of fat and happy with whatever it is. Because I mean, we've both been in the business long enough to know that it can change on a dime, like very quickly. And, what's hot and what's not really changes. I mean, they're saying that like the open plan is not as popular because now people are at home and they want the rooms with some privacy. So, I mean, after we come out of COVID, that's going to change again. So, like, being that consistent, rational person or guide is what we need to do, and realizing too that it's you're not buying for like 6 months. You're buying for, well, however long, whatever your goal is. But anyway, it's always changing, and staying on top of like what is happening and values and everything is part of our job.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see some different things happening this spring. I think it's going to be a very busy year.
I already feel that. I feel like the murmur is starting a little bit early.
Yeah, we had last week, I think we did like 9 contracts.
Did you? Wow. That's a lot. Yeah.
3 days before Christmas, which,
oh my gosh,
is unusual,
yeah,
at this time of year. And we're seeing showings pick up a little bit.
I feel like showings are picking up, and some of my listings that were sitting like got offers, and some of them sold. Yeah. And so like at a weird time, like at a time when you're like, oh, okay, that one will sell in the spring. And then like, oh, wow. Okay. Maybe before that. So yeah, I think that being consistent and just keep, never giving up. And then when there's some kind of click that happens, making it, facilitating things. So it's that being that steady, consistent guide, and cheerleader for your sellers. And I think that is one thing that, is a struggle for some people, is they get bored quickly and they move on to the next. And some places sell right away, and other places it can take a really long time, but you keep going. And, it could be like right now, high-end condos are, because of the elevator buttons and everything, like it's harder to sell them, but it won't be forever. That's a lifestyle that makes sense for a lot of people. But it just might be that we need to get out of COVID for that to strengthen. So it moves all the time, and you keep sticking with it. I mean, we had I had a listing at Liberty Place, and there were many others there, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is tough. Like the condo rules on top of the city rules, and it sold. And so, yeah, I mean, we just kept going, and then like, wow, oh my gosh. So yeah, you can't give up hope, and you have to keep staying consistent with your clients. And, buyers, some of them move quickly, some of them need more time. Just hang in there, be there for them.
Be the solution, Pam.
Be the solution. Yeah. Did I turn into a ghost?
Well, it happens when
still. Oh my goodness. It's like a masquerade. No, I don't know.
Well, you're still there.
That's okay. Yeah. Sunny day,
That's a good thing.
Sunny day, really sunny day.
Pam, I appreciate you. You do great work in our.
You too, Maria.
Thank you. You do really great work in our community, and you're a very well respected agent.
And thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I really do love it. I really do love being able to share this with other people. And we're getting some really great feedback, so that's good too.
Good. 2 Leos.
Yes.
That's unstoppable.
I really do look forward to having lunch with you.
Me too.
And I'm okay with outside eating, so if it's not freezing cold.
I don't, because I feel like, because I do open houses and I show houses, And that's really the only time I go out. So people I know are doing the outside eating. That's great. But I'm going to wait.
Well, when you get your vaccine.
When I get my vaccine, yes.
In the meantime, I wish you and your family a very, very happy, healthy new year filled with much peace, love, and joy, Pam.
You too. You and Chip.
Thank you.
Have fun tomorrow, whatever you're doing.
Well, not too much, but
no, but I want to see what you're eating.
Yes, you will see.
Please.
I dropped off the food I asked him to go to Esposito's for. And
that's so good. Oh, yes.
He was out early. He's like, "You're on a podcast. I'm going food shopping."
Okay, good.
It was great to see you. Thank you.
All right, you too.
And I will see you in the new year.
Sounds good.
Merry, merry.
All right. Okay. All right. Have a good day.